spreading uncontrolled across America.
Let's say the vertical object on this particular table.
Ed was convinced that pregnant Martians were about to unleash a virus that would destroy all life on Earth. This kind of belief was attractive to swathes of the American public, especially because Ed was a military man and consequently trustworthy.
If you wanted to learn remote viewing, you had to learn from Ed Dames. None of the other military guys were training at that time. Ed, and I tried to take training with him first, but he was booked solid for 2 years. Everybody wanted to be a psychic spy. and so Courtney Brown started training in Atlanta, and I was in Atlanta, so it just was amazing to me. I was in the same city where you could get the only other training in remote viewing, and so I signed up right away.
Courtney Brown was, I guess you'd call, basically a third-generation remote viewer. He had learned from Ed Dames, who had learned from Ingo Swann. But you know, when you take a videotape and you record it, and then you copy it, and then you copy the copy, and then copy the copy, you tend to get some additional things in the picture, right?
I met Courtney Brown at a conference in Atlanta, and he approached me and was intensely interested in remote viewing and became one of my first commercial students in a week-long course, upon which he formed his own institute and began teaching himself.
Courtney Brown's credentials were impressive. He may not have been a top-level military spy like his mentor, Ed Dames, but he was a university lecturer in political science. He and Prudence became best friends and psychic partners, remote viewing aliens at their own training school called the Farsight Institute.
I mean, we looked at so many alien things that it became a way of life at the Farsight Institute. We loved alien things. I still love alien things to this day. And no matter what we began to look at, we began to find aliens there. And who's to say that they aren't?
In the autumn of 1996, Prudence and Courtney were sent this photograph of the Hale-Bopp comet. It was taken by an amateur astronomer friend of Prudence called Chuck Schrammek. There seemed to be a strange glitch in the photograph, and Chuck thought it might be interesting for Prudence and Courtney to psychically spy the glitch.
And so we remote viewed it and found that it was artificial, that it wasn't a double nucleus, it wasn't a mistake on his camera, it was an actual object, and it was alien in origin. And so we were so excited. Courtney got on our bell right away and started telling the world about this that we had seen.
Well, Professor, what the hell is that?
I am willing to tell you.
Tell me.
Now, the information I'm going to give you is so far-reaching, so incredible, that you're going to be saying, how could this be? I'm a professor. The people here that work with me, many of them, I have PhDs. This object is approximately four times, the size of the planet Earth, and it's headed our way. It has tunnels in it, and it is apparently moving in artificial means. It's under control.
It's sending us a message. It's trying to get us a message right now. Is that correct?
That's exactly correct.
Courtney Brown told Art Bell's listeners that the object in the tail of the Hale-Bopp comet was like the monolith from 2001. Art Bell's listeners had gone crazy for Ed Dames, but these ideas were even more entrancing for them.
There are more of them coming, my lord.
What?
My lord.
There are more of these coming?
Apparently.
This is not a fake War of the Worlds broadcast. And I'm not sure what it is right now. And so I want to caution you all that we're dealing with breaking news. And so please bear with us. I want to do this as responsibly as I can here in a moment. This is not a fake War of the Worlds broadcast.
Art, this one is real.
Doctor, hold it right there. We'll be right back to you. Somehow I always felt I would be on hand for this. You're listening to the CBC Radio Network.
Art Bell's website crashed with the volume of traffic, the number of listeners trying to log on so they could view Chuck Schrammek's photograph. It had only been a year since Ed Dames revealed the secrets of the military psychic spying unit, and now, as a result, Art Bell's 18 million listeners were preparing themselves for a full-on Martian attack. I guess this is what happens when the American people discover that their leaders are not rational. Irrationality sweeps through the land, and now all hell was about to break loose.
Come on, we're here! Lucky!
Quick, the door!
There he goes, Dad!
Don't panic. If you're a safe driver, More Than lets you protect your maximum no-claim discount for life, which means your premium will never go up.
Dad!
Woo! Just because you've made a claim.
That's lucky.
And you could save up to 40% when you switch.
That's more than lucky.
Call More Than now on 0800 300 202 and you could save up to 40% when you switch.
Are you getting to you, Joe?
No heartburn. I rushed lunch.
Try these. New Gaviscon Cool.
New Gaviscon Cool brings you ultra-cool heartburn relief you can actually feel working.
That is cool. I can really feel it. What a feeling!
What a feeling! New Gaviscon Cool. What a feeling.
Experience more at PC World. See the widest range of Windows Media Center PCs, including the latest from HP. It's a powerful PC and so much more. You can watch, pause and record live TV programs digitally, edit, share and store your digital photos and home movies, access your entire music collection, all at the simple touch of a remote control. The new HP Media Center PC, only $999. Experience more.
Isn't it annoying when dishes aren't completely cleaned the first time round? And you have to rewash? Stop! A new way begins today. New Finish 3-in-1 Brilliant. With its powerful new formula and unique Powerball technology, cuts through grease and blasts away all kinds of tough stains, delivering unbeatable cleaning and brilliant shine. New Finish. Brilliant results first time, every time, without rewashing.
Worried about viruses? With Wanadu, our security packages can offer protection whenever you're online. Whatever you want to do, Wanadu Broadband.
To my oldest son, I leave the chateau on the French Riviera. To my only daughter, the Manhattan penthouse. To my youngest son, I bequeath 150 acres of uninhabitable swampland.
Terrible.
The Jeep range starts from $15,750.
Dispatches investigates who is looking after Britain's most vulnerable children and exposes a system that has turned children in care into a money-making scheme. Dispatches, profiting from kids in care, Thursday at 9 on 4.
In the days after Courtney Brown told Art Bell's listeners that the Hale-Bopp comet had an alien spaceship in its tail, Prudence and Courtney were inundated with emails. One stood out as being particularly strange.
Just somebody saying, could this companion raise us to the level above human? Could this, take us where we want to go? And they got the standard, thank you for your interest in Farsight Institute. Here's our upcoming class schedule.
We're so excited we don't know what to do because we're about to re-enter the level above human.
The Heaven's Gate cult in San Diego were Art Bell fans. They'd been wondering how to enter the level above human for years, but didn't know how to do it. As they listened to the Art Bell show that night, it all made sense to them.
Now, if you would hold your patch, maybe we can zoom in on the patch. Great. There we go. See, it says Heaven's Gate Away Team. And that's exactly what that means to us. We've been away and now we're going back.
On the night that the Hale-Bopp comet drew close enough to Earth to be seen with the naked eye, Prudence stood on a balcony of a Holiday Inn in Atlanta, and she saw that there was no spaceship in its tail.
I was just staring at it. It was so beautiful. And I was just getting ready for the class, just wondering, you know, what was all that Hale-Bopp stuff about anyway? Trying to figure it out. We were trying to figure out where the companion object went. Came into view, wasn't there. And then one of the other teachers in this class came running up the stairs with the newspaper that had just come out, and it was huge headlines, full pictures everywhere about the Heaven's Gate cult group in Rancho Santa Fe. And they showed pictures of the leader and pictures of all these people that had just killed themselves because they believed they were going to join the companion object to the comet.
39 people killed themselves so they could hitch a ride on Prudence and Courtney's Hale-Bopp companion.
It was awful. It was very sad. I just felt so terrible. All these people. It was very emotional, and you know, it's a helpless kind of feeling because you know you want to help somehow, but there's nothing you can do. It's a sort of stressful thing to talk about. I'm not really sure what to say.
I don't know what to ask.
Yeah, it was awful.
I mean, I guess, you know, you weren't to know that all the excitement, would lead to a mass suicide.
You'd think, well, you're a remote viewer, you should have figured that out ahead of time.
I wondered if I was going to survive as a business entity after I heard Courtney. And it's...
After you heard Courtney Bell?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what that would do to the future of remote viewing as a valid enterprise.
Prudence's psychic spying business suffered quite a blow as a result of the mass suicides, but needs must, and post 9/11 she was back in business, predicting future terrorist attacks for the FBI. And then I met her for the first time and she indiscreetly told me, London. Well, surely not Buckingham Palace.
I might tell you off camera.
Now, Prudence tells me, London Zoo is about to be hit by a dirty bomb so powerful it will knock over the nearby BT Tower. Prudence says she knows this because when she and her team psychically spied the impending dirty bomb, they could feel the pain of the elephants. The elephants were screaming in agony, Prudence says. It was a frightening thing to hear, and I continued to be frightened for a few months until I discovered the following information.
And London Zoo's elephants pack their trunks to enjoy life in the leafy home counties.
The 3 girls from the city have left their Regent's Park base for a new life in the countryside.
How could the elephants be collateral damage in a London Zoo dirty bomb when the elephants, 6 months prior to Prudence's vision, had all been moved to Whipsnade? Prudence said the dirty bomb would definitely explode sometime before Christmas 2003, and frankly, it was a relief to discover it was all just psychic nonsense. Prudence is getting death threats from unknown military intelligence people, she says. This is why she's closed down her business. There have been phone calls calling her a mass murderer responsible for the 39 suicides and implying that she would die too if she carried on telling journalists like me the details of her war on terror psychic work.
You know, threatening phone calls saying, you better stop what you're doing, click. People following you on the street, people running up and taking strange pictures of you when you're in a public place.
That happens to you?
That happens all the time, to this day.
I can't prove that Prudence is really under attack, and I can't prove that the psychics are having a palpable impact on the war on terror. But when intelligence agents are sent out to talent spot clairvoyance, and when the last great war, the Cold War, relied heavily on psychic data, it is presumable that the psychics are having some impact on this war. Crazy psychic predictions influencing a crazy intelligence network and turning the American people crazy.
Recent intelligence reports suggest that al-Qaeda leaders have emphasized planning for attacks on apartment buildings, hotels, and other soft or lightly secured targets in the United States.
Since 9/11, have they done any specific work? I can't confirm or deny that.
And you couldn't confirm or deny which agency it may or may not have been? Okay. I am inclined to believe that Prudence is receiving death threats from intelligence people involved in classified paranormal pursuits. These supernatural endeavours may be funny to us, but they aren't funny to them. Sometimes it can be hard to give up a funny story, replace it with a story that's not fun, as Eric Olson has discovered to his cost. An LSD suicide story is considered strange and wonderful. A CIA murder story is not.
Eric Olson is ready to challenge at a news conference tomorrow that the story of the suicide plunge makes no sense and that his father was killed to silence him about the lethal activities he'd been involved in, programs codenamed MK Ultra. Dr. Olson may not have the whole story. The pity is that the government's lid on his secrets remains so tight that we may never know the whole story.
Don't go there. Don't go
this
there.
This is Daniel Shore.
Don't go there, Dan. See, that's what they want to do. Oh, we never know the whole story, you know? And there's so much comfort they take in that. Bullshit. No, it's bullshit. Yeah. The people have been so brainwashed by fiction, you know, the Tom Clancy kind of thing, that they think we know this stuff. We know the CIA does this, and so on. Actually, we know nothing of this, you know? There's no case of this. And this is, all this fictional stuff is like an immunization against reality, and makes people think they know things that they don't know, and it enables them to have a kind of superficial, you know, quasi-sophistication and cynicism, which is, you know, just a thin layer beyond which, you know, they're not cynical at all. Frank Olson did not die because he was...
Eric did give a press conference the next day, saying his father was not an LSD suicide, but a CIA murder victim. But most of the journalists present reported it as a human interest story, focusing on Eric's healing process, and so the story was fun again. Throughout this series, we've looked at paranormal experiments conducted by the US military during the past 3 decades. Often the intentions behind them are honourable, and the experiments seem funny until they are implemented.
Well, Jon Ronson is about to take part in a live web chat at channel4.com/talk, and his book to accompany this series, The Men Who Stare at Goats, is available in shops now, priced $16.99. Coming up, Hugh Grant is late for a very important date, the first of many, in 4 weddings and a funeral.